Hey girlfriends, how's everybody doing today? I'm so glad that you decided to join me. If you like what you hear today, I want you to go and to subscribe to my blog site at www.mygirlfriends.org. Today is a special treat for you guys. I have my sister here from
South Africa.
I have Manette here, everybody, and we're going to talk about racial barriers to friendships.
Yeah.
You can give them a shout out, Manette.
Hi.
So we're going to talk about it. Manette is from South Africa, and she's going to give us a peek into her life years ago, her first friendship, and she's just going to talk about it. We're going to let it out all on the table. If you know anyone that have had any issues with racial barriers to friendship, this thing is real. It's not something that exist a long time ago. I believe that it still exists today.
Yeah, it definitely is still existing.
Absolutely. So she's just going to take us back into her world years ago, and I hope that this is something that you can learn from. In any event, even if it's not a racial barrier for you, it could be any barrier. A lot of times barriers are blind and we don't know that they are there, and they are all contingent on what we are exposed to. So I hope this exposure to Manette's life helps you out. She's just going to give us a background on her dynamic. So I want you to listen to the details, and we'll go from there.
Okay. So basically, growing up, I grew up in a farm back in the day, and it was a big farm. So we had people working for us. The majority were black people, and so there would be a bunch of families, living together, and they would have kids too. So I remember my first friend being one of the black community friends there, and we were around the same age, and so she would come over and play, and that was the first time I really got exposed to the racial barrier, because you you raised in this cocoon, and you you kind of taught a certain way to be with a certain type of people.
Talk about it.
Yeah, and then so then I had this friend, and to me I was colorblind, you can say, this was just my friend. I didn't see her any different than what she was. So, and then there was obviously stuff that I couldn't understand, why she could not come into our house, and but they were so opening, I can go into their house. So that's sort of questioning, leaving the seed into my mind, and it caused me to have a lot of questions. And I remember being younger, and I would not eat unless my mom made her meal. So
yeah, tell me what was your mentality behind this?
Because I felt what makes me different from having a meal than her, because I didn't see the difference. I remember because there was farms around us, and some of their friends, the white friends, would come and play, and they were we would play tag and hide and go seek, and me and her had this secret spot where we would go hide, and no one ever knew about it. So obviously when we were playing it, I would go to her, and they couldn't understand it. They were why aren't you just playing with white kids?
Wow.
So I was and I just never saw them that really stick to me. And then one thing my mom said, because we and my mom had to have a conversation, I think that kind of opened their minds too, and they were
was she open prior to?
She was my dad was more conservative, but my mom was always open. From a little age, she taught us that you don't judge someone according to their color. You go to you look at their behaviors and stuff. So I've always had that, and I think that really helped me, because I've learned so much with that open-mindedness. Because one of my best friends are different race people. It's Mexicans. It's all those different races, and so I'm very fortunate to have that open mind, and I wish more people had it, because it's I feel like isolating yourself is so destructive in a way, because and at the end of the day, with me and her, we liked the same stuff, we felt about the same stuff.
Love it.
Yeah, so it was to me she was no different, and I'm fortunate enough to be still in contact with her and stuff.
Really?
So yeah, so and I mean their family was looking after me, and the thing is with them I got taught a little more, because they knew a lot about the bush, they knew a lot about the fields and stuff. So I would go with them, and they would teach me stuff I didn't know. I ate food that I wasn't aware of.
Love it.
Yeah,
yes.
So I was exposed to this different culture, and then even going into this, looking from a side, you think it's so different, but then when you expose to it and really go into it, it's exactly the same.
And I want to stop you there really quick, Manette.
Yeah.
And scoot over a little bit more. She said that being exposed to another culture and another race, she began to eat different foods that she's never eaten before, and she found out that it wasn't bad at all.
It was good. Some of it is very good. So.
Wow. And I want to tell you, ladies, that one barrier to developing quality friendships is your lack of openness to difference. It's okay for you to learn and explore and be exposed to different cultures, different backgrounds. This will actually make you more diverse as a woman.
Yeah.
And it really
that's so important.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it really just brought joy to my heart to see that her exposure caused her to learn something that she didn't know before. And I wanted to ask you more about, so you said previously, before you had the conversation with your mom,
right.
about, she was telling you there's no, you judge people by their behavior and not by how they look. Tell me about as a little girl, because we talked about an invisible barrier, and sometimes it's stuff that we don't talk about, but we can feel it. How did you know there is a barrier there between races?
Well, like, you see, it was like not like a vocal thing. Like, no one was like saying, okay, no, you can't hang with him. But it was the way that people behaved. Like, and it's not, I don't think it always, like, it is, like, it comes from like maybe a racial, like racistic or racial, I don't know how to say that, point of view, but I feel like it's because like you were grown from that, like our fathers, like you kind of raised in this community, and like you're so small-minded that is the way it is. Like, you don't question it, you don't do it, and like that's the same from the community like they were with. They were like, we don't go in that, we don't. And to me, from like a young age, without anyone telling me this, I had to like be in this group, but like from the beginning, like something didn't feel right. So I started making like little adjustments, and I'm like, but I'm not gonna eat if she can't eat. And I was like kind of like not rebelling against my family, but I think in that awake them, So I just couldn't understand, because I feel like because they maybe weren't so like included into it, but to me, like, I was there, and I saw like we're more alike than we are different. So I was like, why do you get treated differently, So yeah, but I think like we've grown. Like, I feel like it's a long process, and
we've grown, but
yeah,
it is a long process.
It is. I think like the biggest problem I've noticed is that we have like this hard-heartedness against each other, and that is just like self-destructing again. Like, I feel like once we just get that hard-heartedness out, it would be so much better.
You're absolutely right. Did you guys hear the principles? Manette, when she began to talk, she really gave us at least 3 good principles just about morality, as we know it. I want to say this. She talked about what was it? I think I lost my train of thought. But she talked about the invisible barrier, and how she had, as a child, an inner conviction that maybe something is not right. Maybe I should do things differently. Maybe I should accept this person. But I wanted to talk about, she said that I asked her what were the invisible barriers, and she said that it wasn't anything that people said, it was the behavior that she saw. And I want to tell you today, ladies, to sum up our interview today, if you ever want to know who you are, sometimes because we have these innate traits on the inside of us, we can't bring language to it. We don't know how to define who we are because we're so used to being who we are. If you ever want to know who you are, what your weaknesses are, what you're prone to do, I want you to look at the behaviors of those that have come before you, and look at the behaviors of those that have raised you, your upbringing, and that'll give you a little bit more about your strengths, your weaknesses, your innate traits that you carry. And I want you to start there. I want to thank my sister so much from South Africa. We really are better together. I've learned a lot from her in 7 minutes. Thank you so much for allowing me to interview you. Thank you for speaking your truth. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart.
You're so welcome.
I hope you guys learned something today about racial barriers to friendships, women, relationships, how we see the world around us, and how we see differences. I want to say that we are really better together. If you like what you hear, follow me or subscribe to my website at www.mygirlfriends.org. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.